Awesome. So, hey guys, I wanted to share this with you because I've been actually excited to talk to Steve. We've actually been planning this for, I would say, almost 2 weeks now. But
I think so.
I've known Steve for, oh my goodness, 4 years now. Has it been four or three?
Yeah.
3 or 4 years. But Steve has been working with me on, I would say, multiple different projects. Some of the stuff is in regards to ranking. Some of it has to do with local service companies. Some of it has to do with product companies. Some of it has to do with like all these different things. But it all is focused, and this is where Steve's speciality is in Google.
I'm super special.
Super special. Yeah. Yeah. So obviously we're going to have fun because I am super excited to share this stuff. But just to give you a little quick background with Steve, he's been quoted in like IBM, what'd you say, Fortune, I think Inc. You've been quoted in. Like, there's a whole bunch of people that have recognized Steve.
Stop it.
Yeah, for his talent. But then also Majestic.com, you're one of the only the 10 people, like 10 people from the U.S. that are contributors for Majestic.com.
Yep.
I know that you're running a couple of different specialty type sites. One of them is for roofing. I think we'll probably talk about that.
Yep.
Getting anywhere from 1 to 2 calls a day just on SEO ranking. Rehab site, I could go on and on, but I don't think people want to hear all of that. They really want to hear, like, okay, what is it? What's the value? What is it that we're talking about? I'm excited because you told me a little bit, and the fact that it's not brand new, but it is sort of brand new. I mean, obviously Google's been around a long time, but just finding out and understanding how to use, dare I say, manipulate Google for our advantage, and that's really what I think we want to talk about today. So
yeah,
I'm going to let you get started. I'm going to sit here and ask questions and see if we can direct the conversation, but I'm really excited to hear it.
So I don't nerd out, as you said. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So basically, this conversation really is about local lead generation and giving Google what it wants. And if you give Google what it wants, you're not manipulating it. You're just simply like drawing water from the well. And that's what we want to kind of talk about is how do we teach you to draw water from the well? One of the ways at which Google has been changing its algorithm is really they're not displaying just your typical like three little listings for people. So if you were to Google like roofers near me and you're in like Minneapolis, you'll get the little 3 dots. There's 3 little lines. You can click the call, do all those fun things. They're actually personalizing the results now. So not necessarily based on what you visited previously, but if you are structuring your Google My Business and your when I say entity, that's part of your entity and your brand identity in such a way that you can become either the only person that's displayed when they type in a query or a search term, or you can become one of the 3. So it's gone to the days of like the there were 7 listings and then there's 3, but they're actually going to give each person, if they're logged into their Gmail account, the personalized recommendations for them. So it's not just like you're hard set in stone, like here's the top 3, we're only going to display these. So that's kind of what I want to talk about a little bit, especially because local service providers like roofers, painters, I mean, really anyone that has, a brick and mortar location or is a service company, but anyone that has like a service area or people that you draw from, you're competing against like, Angie's List, Yelp, what are some of those other big sites?
Well, there's a lot of them and I know from experience that, especially as a service company, that's a membership. So if you want to be ranked or you want to do something, if you want to be on Angie's List, you actually have to pay a specific membership, or you got to pay a lot of money and compete for those leads. From a service perspective, I mean, they're looking at it like, okay, well, how much is this lead going to cost me? And then they obviously have to look at their numbers, do some of the turns and things like that. This is more specific. Hey, this is my brand, right? This is your website. And that's where the value comes in, because, you're talking about actually and what Google can do is actually start branding your company alone, not branding Angie's List or any one of the other platforms that is basically, gathering all these leads and then trying to resell them to you. You're getting your own leads, right? Is that
Absolutely.
where we're headed?
Yeah, that's exactly it. So I'm going to go and share my screen. I'm just typing a couple things and see if I can get it to pull and find the results that I'm kind of looking for. Okay, so this will be interesting. So like right now, I'm gonna share my screen if that's all right. Then.
Yeah, please do. And just so, because this is where I feel like we're changing and the industry is changing. Go ahead and share your screen. It's just that the way that I used to watch and see things is everybody would go to Yelp or Angie's List or whatever and look for the the businesses that they want because they're looking for the reviews. Now Google is saying, hey, we don't necessarily want to have that platform, which is like a third-party platform. We want people to come directly to Google to find all of the information about a service company.
Absolutely.
Instead of having to run, Google doesn't want them to be redirected to, Angie's List or another one. They want them to find that direct connection. So it's basically cutting out the middleman.
Right. Exactly. So one thing I want to point out right here, because I'm going to jump back to what Tim just said, but you're going to see Google's taking up tons of real estate with these ads. I mean, look at it. 1 ad, 2, 3, 4, right? So they're really hitting hard. They want you to advertise in Google Ads, or AdWords, what it used to be called. But this is exactly what I'm talking about here, right? If you're in a niche or in an industry where you're competing against really, really heavy hitters, and I would consider heavy hitters like Angie's List, HomeAdvisor, Thumbtack, anything that has an 800-pound gorilla in there.
And there's that list right there. That HomeAdvisor is that one right there.
Right there. So that's going to suck a lot of traffic, right? So that's going to suck a huge amount. Because that's what it's designed to do. It's designed to pull people in because people are familiar with HomeAdvisors as a brand, or Angie's List. This isn't going to get all the traffic, but there's some people who feel more familiar, like, hey, I'll go check these people out before I, click on Interstate Roof or Alpine, My Denvers, or BBB. So they're, real estate agents, right? So I'm not sure we're going to have any real estate agents watching, but real estate agents, let's just say Denver. I don't know why I keep picking Denver. I'm in Michigan.
It's a great city. I mean,
I
love Denver.
So here, this is the kind of vertical I'm talking about, because it didn't exactly hit on the last one. So look at this: Zillow, Realtor, Yelp, Max, Redfin, and these are all just like, no one's really showing up on here. It's just like a list, right? Denver Post, Live Urban Real Estate. So Live Urban Denver. So here's the first real listing of like an actual business. So the question is, how do you compete and get leads against these lead generating gorillas and machines, right? Well, how you do it is you out localize them, and by hitting what I call it just Google Local. It's actually called Google My Business, but it's just easier to kind of think of it as Google Local. You want to be found where people are.
Guys, so listen, this is one of the things that, especially, I've been in online business and sales and all kinds of stuff for the last 5, 6, 7 years. And to be able to have a tool that competes against the 900-pound gorilla is incredible. I mean, because I personally, it's funny because I'm watching this stuff and I'm thinking, I don't actually go down into Zillow and all these other things anymore. I'm starting to look, and I'll click on the map and I'll see which one's closest to me now, because it's just my own personal usage. I'm finding myself doing it. And that's what I'm sorry. I'm really excited about this, because I think it's something that's going to change the way a lot of small business service type companies and local, foot traffic, brick and mortar type stores. I think this is going to change a lot of the way that you look at Google. It's no longer archaic. It's no longer this thing that's so complicated. This is really the way to be able to move forward. And, again, let's be honest. I mean, Facebook has been giving us fits for the last year because they're changing all their algorithm. This is something that I think Google is doing to be able to directly compete with that localized business that Facebook has stolen from them, along with a lot of others. So sorry for keep interrupting, but I just think it's awesome.
Good. I have no idea what to talk about anymore. All right, so these local listings right here, right, on your mobile, it's going to look different. It's going to kind of take up that first above the fold, people in the industry call it, and it's going to have a click to call. You can call. There's the website and click. Can
you pull that mobile up real quick, or is that?
Let me see if I can get that. Let's see.
Usually you can flip it over to the local. If not, that's no worries. I just thought it.
Yeah,
don't worry about it.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, I could, I guess show my my phone or whatever, but so to get an actual mobile view,
don't worry about it. Yeah, don't worry about
it. So right here, right? So let's look on these guys right here, Team Denver. So they've got good reviews, right? Got a lot of good reviews. Okay. So these guys are going to be able to win what I would call the real estate battle more than Zillow. So the question is why? There's more local intent when maps pull up, right? People can actually they can call without having to visit your actual website, because some people have great websites, some people have bad websites. getting the phone call is, for most businesses, is the win. When you actually get someone on the phone, it's better than a form fill. It's better than an email request. So that's winning right there. And then the next thing, obviously, if you are a driving destination, people can actually go and then, go right to your business. So if you have like a restaurant or you're a chiropractor, or, doctor, what have you, and people want to, click on directions, that's money. I mean, when people go and say, hey, I want to visit, or I want to call, that's money in the bank right there for you. So those are huge wins, and it doesn't get any easier for someone than having to just click these listings right here. So what I'm saying is that listings are not set in stone. If I was, in this certain area in Denver, and I was searching for real estate agents in Denver, or near me, or my zip code, or any other geolocation specific queries or search terms, right? So let me flip over to another term, and being in the online space, personal injury lawyers, New York, personal injury is one of the more competitive verticals in law, which is one of the more competitive online. And New York is, it's a big metropolis, obviously.
Yeah, so, there's just a lot of competition there. So
a lot of competition. Not my client. I don't have any clients in this space, so I'm not, these are live things. It's not like, oh, check this stuff out. It's more of like, let's just see what's working and what people are doing. So Tim and I were on the horn a second ago before we went live, and said, well, I'd like to show something. It doesn't, most of the stuff that we deal with are with like NDA type of stuff, so we can't reveal our clients on a webinar. But I can show you what's working with other people's stuff, because I just went on to Google and found it. So personal injury lawyer, New York, says the average cost per click to earn a click to your website is about $60. Right. So that's pretty expensive. I don't know what your CPCs are in whatever niches you guys are, whoever watching the webinars, but that's really expensive. So these guys, 59, reviews, 37, 54, right? So it's not, you'll take a look. Why does this guy have 37 and he's above this guy who's got 54? It doesn't have to do with just the reviews. The way you structure your reviews matter. What's the terms that are in your review matter. The strength of the people reviewing your business matters, as far as if they're a Google local guide, right? There's many different layers that you can get into within the reviews and how to structure them, but we're not here to talk just necessarily about that. What I'm here to talk about is activity and relevance on what they call Google My Business. So this company right here is doing something that is going to kind of remind you of Facebook, however many years ago, when Facebook was kind of the Wild West and you could pull traffic in with just like your organic posting without having to run ads within Business Manager. So this right here is a piece of content. This guy was a scholarship for autism, winner. He's got a call to action to learn more. And guess what? Takes you back to the page for this. Now, what you're going to notice as we come back here is there was a link from Google My Business to the guy's actual page, or an inner page or post, right? So why is that good? Well, there's no better links really on the web than something that comes directly from Google, right? You're signifying these are good signals that Google can see traffic. When you're GMB or you Google My Business, you've got traffic from here to your actual website. It's going to count for something, right? So
why does it count more?
Because a lot of businesses are not, posting, or they're not posting right. Like I could just say, yeah, go out and, throw out a couple posts in there, and you'll probably start to see a little bit of an increase, right? Right. But it's not going to be structured, the correct way where it can actually help you pull in more. So it's like, I can tell you to go build a house and you can put up 4 walls, but it's not going to necessarily last.
Right. So what you're saying though, and this is the reason why he's ranked higher, is because of, you listed off a whole ton of stuff, and frankly, there were so many things there that you listed off. I was like, well, that's a lot. But it basically has a lot to do with the content and the words that are being used inside of these links, correct?
Inside of these posts, but then there's also things called citations, and citations are things where your data is on a website like Yelp. Yelp's got your name, address, phone number, Yellow Pages, Facebook. So anytime your business is listed with its NAP, name, address, phone number, that's considered a citation, right? Citations are believed, and I know them to be part of why a map listing is provided. But there's a lot of other factors in that.
So for a tactic though, because this guy, obviously we just did this quick search here in New York.
Sure.
Tactically wise, if somebody's going to try to implement a tactic and say, okay, yes, I want to do this, what is it that they should do in order to allow them to start ranking higher? Is it posting consistently, posting articles that are from their site on here? Is that
posting articles from your site would be good. Talking about related news elements. You don't want to just like this is the biggest thing that drives me crazy with people on Facebook is like you have this really cool article, and you share it on your Facebook page, but it goes over to, Forbes or Fortune or some other like cool cat video website, right?
Right.
That doesn't do any good because your traffic just went away. It didn't.
Right.
You just made that person, so you made the other company money by sending them away, right?
Okay.
So what I try to do is, you can produce a piece of content on your own website and then promote it here, right? You can promote it from the Google My Business. You can send videos. You can send people to your actual Google My Business listing. There's a lot of ways to structure it. So what I would talk about is, give offers on here. Like talk about your services. If you do personal injury, if you do rhinoplasty, augmentation, I would talk about the different product lines in there. And then I would have obviously images that talk about what you're doing. We can get into how to optimize your images in another call, because there's when I'm saying there's
a lot of details. Yeah, there's a lot of details in this part of it. But just to know and understand, the core value is the fact that you want to apply articles that are relevant to your industry, number one.
Yep.
And number two, that have great value, something that's of interest. So number one, it has to be relevant to what it is that you're talking about. So if it's lawyers, great. I mean, like that looks like it's proud to announce the founding attorney. He's selected for Best Lawyers in America. Great piece. Absolutely. Because it's showing expertise, it's showing value, it applies to lawyers, it applies to all that stuff. So it's giving them something that's a value and something that applies. But the key, and I think this is what it's most important, what you had just said, is the fact that it's got to be directed back to your website. So technically you're looking at a blog type display to be able to drive traffic back, which then creates all types of support.
Exactly. It can be your blog. It can be, he could make an article about this URL, right? About us. And so he could make a post and it could be going to, check out more about our fantastic, personal injury staff. We're proud to be serving Upper East Side Manhattan all the way down to, Brooklyn. We've been awarded the best law firm in America for 2012 to 2019, whatever. So you want to talk about the areas you service, right? You want to have, a couple different keywords or phrases or service terms that you offer. So if it's rhinoplasty, you talk about, nose realignment or, bone breaking in your nose to deviated septums, that kind of stuff. So think about just the different service things. We're not going to get into like keyword research and how to find that stuff out right now.
No, but that's definitely part of it. And again, that's part of being relevant. So I would, underneath of your relevance, you want to make sure that, you are talking about the areas you service and the keywords that apply to that industry. And that's really where you got to be relevant.
That Google wants, and you need to speak the language that people are looking for. Because if you have like, a industry specific term that only industry insiders know and understand, don't use that vernacular as your primary, right? You can use it in there. But then if it's like, rhinoplasty, if I was looking for a nose job, I don't know, do anything. I would probably be looking for like, how do I get a better looking nose? So you need to think, so there's keyword planners out there that can help you, but you also need to think like a person and intelligence and figure out.
So these things, I mean, you actually mentioned something briefly, and I want to circle back around there just to see what you had said. Does this same thing apply to, because you said something about reviews? And the reviews actually make a difference. So, we just talked about the content planning. Can you just maybe do a couple quick bullet points on the reviews? Because you said something about these different, I didn't quite catch everything because you went through it so fast, but as far as the reviews.
So reviews are important. There's different levels of reviews and reviewers. So let's look up Google local guides. So there's different levels for Mac users. I'm a level 6 guide. It goes up to 10, but you can essentially sign up to be a local guide. The higher strength, essentially your listing is, the more relevant your review is going to be. If I leave a review and I'm a local 6 guide, it's, there's not a lot of 10s. There's some 10s, but for like regular people, level 6 is like if I include a phrase in for local service, and I include like if it's a smoothie place, and I say this is the best smoothie place in Traverse City. I got a keyword and I got a service area that's inside of there. Then it's going to definitely show up more for getting keywords in service areas is a lot more better. A lot better than having nothing in there, as opposed to like, what's a better review? Let me ask it, Tim. Best smoothie place in Traverse City. Absolutely loved it. Great for casual business meetings, or great place. Loved it. Highly recommended.
Yeah, well, obviously, it's more relevant. Yeah,
it's more relevant, and people, it just seems a lot more genuine too. So you got to structure your reviews, and you can teach your clients and people that are visiting your store and your staff on how to ask for reviews in a certain way where it's best. You don't incentivize them because that breaks terms of condition of like, we'll give you $10 off if you leave a review. That breaks terms of service. So it's just more of like asking the right way. So.
And I'll bet you that whole asking for the reviews on the right way, that could probably be an entirely different call, just because there's a ton of details in regards to that. I know you and I have talked offline about that, but just to know that importance is there. The reviews do count, and that makes a difference in how you get ranked. And then now, I mean, there's probably more stuff we can talk, but just to highlight that, the reviews there, and then we're talking about content posting. Do you want to touch back on content posting here, or where did you want to go?
So, I mean, not every website is going to have, activity like this guy does. So, I mean, in August, he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 posts, right? Not massive. We're typically doing a post every day for most of our clients, and some are multiple times a day, right? So it's not the only thing that's keeping them here. But this guy right here is not doing anything that I found as far as like, Google My Business posts, right? So do you mind if I show you what it looks like as far as a website within Google My Business? Would you like to see that?
Yeah, whatever you think, is going to be worthwhile as far as value. Because as it stands right now, we've hit 2 huge value pieces that allows people to actually see, okay, this is exactly what you need to do. Now, they may need to take another class or another thing to be able to learn how to be able to get to that point. But just the fact of understanding that you can do this content posting in there and that the reviews are really important. I'm sure probably people have never even thought or they've never even looked at the fact that their online presence makes such a big difference in that. So, so go ahead.
This is just I didn't tell you about this at all, but if you're in, business.google.com, you can manage all your accounts that you have in there.
Let's think of it this way, because right now what we're doing is basically cracking the door open to this rabbit hole. And once you start going down this rabbit hole, there's like a ton more information. But most people don't even realize that this is even available. And so by just cracking the door open into a brand new area allows their minds and everybody's minds to start exploring. Maybe you did know, and now all of a sudden this adds to your knowledge. But just keep in mind, you're always going to be increasing that. So that's where you're at.
Right. So if you guys see me look like I'm stretching, it's because I am. I've got a protruding disc, so I'm on my standing desk. So I'm going to be fidgeting quite a bit. So if you're like, why does this guy keep moving so much? It's because I'm in a lot of pain right now. So this right here is website, right? You click on website, and it'll take you over to something that is hidden for most people because they don't know about it.
Yeah.
Right. So this right here is my Mastermind SEO in Traverse City listing, right? It's different than mastermindseo.org, right? It's actually not hosted by me. It's not WordPress. It's actually a free website builder. So Google actually has a free website builder that businesses can start using right away, right? And here's the really interesting thing. Check this out. All of your posts right here get aggregated into a nice little feed right here. You can also have some content. You can have some links. And then you can put your name, address, phone number, all kinds of different stuff.
Okay, so now let me ask you, because I know these questions are going to start popping up. Number one,
Sure.
Did you create this website?
Yes.
Okay. Number two, if anybody that's out there that's not web savvy, can they create this website? I mean, like there's all kinds of stuff that
most basic builder you can find. I mean, it's literally is like, add your photo, these things populate automatically, tells you to type text in here, tells you to type text in here, all of your photos.
Okay, so it's fairly simple as far as the layout, and you don't have a whole lot of
there's no design skills required.
Perfect.
Which is wonderful. Now there's the devil's in the details to optimize it properly, right? But this is a free website builder for you.
Yeah, and just to be crystal clear, this is not your regular website. This is something that's built inside of your Google business.
Mm-hmm. Yep, Google My Business listing, exactly.
Yep.
So some people use it to drive traffic to. There's a lot of different strategies on how you use it, but the fact that it keeps kind of track of all of your posts, it's very interesting. So if you have any SEO, experience or whatever, like, if you're looking at, these post URL types, it's like, okay, there's opportunities here to really kind of promote if you kind of understand what Google's looking for and how Google ranks things with their algorithm. So
this is basically what's tying into the content that we were talking about just a minute ago. This is where it's pulling the content?
Well, the content that you're posting gets pulled into here. That's what your posts end up looking like this. Okay. Right? Or if you've got an image inside of it, like this. If you were to look at it, come on. Gosh, stop it. There we go. That's what a post would look like if it was.
That's perfect. Yeah. Okay. So awesome.
So this right here, I haven't done a ton of work to it, but when you get into full on, what I call GMB website builds, you put a ton of content into them. You can, utilize links to drive your website. And it's, when done properly, the Google My Business posts with optimized images and call to actions, and it works really, really well. We're seeing, within a month, we're seeing increases typically, depending on the niche, of 30 to 40%, and that's like monthly. So if like your new baseline is, and month 2 is up 30%, the next month is like jumping 20 to 30% as well. So we're seeing really, really good increases in Google My Business actions. So let me show you one, because I do have one local listing I can show you. Let's see. Let me go to Insights real quick.
Well, I think this is, so you're basically painting a picture as far as like if we were doing a step-by-step, obviously you want to be aware, provide the value, and see exactly what's going on inside of Google. But then this is really, we're starting to get into some of the grassroots of how to be able to get some of that stuff in there.
Right. Absolutely. So this right here just tracks the calls from Google My Business, but I got 40 visits to my website right here. And my website doesn't rank for, a lot of the key terms, but it's the Google My Business listing. So we're doing 2 to 3. I think today we got 3 phone calls for roofing for this client. So it's it works, and I haven't really been doing all that much to this particular Google My Business listing.
Well, here's what I find interesting, especially because I know Traverse City, it's a little bit smaller than New York.
Yeah,
probably a lot.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But by doing a little work in a little area, you're able to get results. I'm sure, like if you did just that little bit of work in New York City, it probably wouldn't produce the same results. Which is why it's a great comparison when you're looking for a personal injury. That guy is obviously posting every day. He's got a lot of stuff going on. That's the reason why he's ranked up a lot higher, is because he's putting more time and more effort into that. Frankly, he's probably spending more money on those too. He's probably paying somebody to write those articles on a daily basis, or by every other day or whatever. Mm-hmm. So depending on the competition, I guess is what I think.
How often you post is going to be related to, because granted, I'm not in New York, right? I'm in Traverse City, Michigan. So if I was in New York and I was signing in my Google account and I was typing like personal injury near me or best one in New York, I would most likely get served an individualized, experience based on what these people optimize for. And these guys didn't even optimize their post that well, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, the devil's in the details with this. The fact that he's done so well is, can be attributed to a number of different things: citations, reviews, links to the Google My Business activity, referral traffic. But then, these posts definitely do help, but the posts aren't even that great. The posts are not optimized the way that we would optimize them. And frankly, the ones that I showed you on Mastermind weren't optimized either.
Well, and I know that you, I know that you do this for a lot of Inc. type 500 companies. Yep. I also know that under NDAs, you're not allowed to talk about them, but I mean, like, there are some very large companies that you're working for and doing this for. The cool thing, this is what I think is so special about this is, and this is just my opinion, but I think this is true. I mean, I've worked with Steve and I've seen his staff and his team more than excel in companies that are millions of dollars of company. They just do millions of dollars. And they also have plans, and this is what I love about it. So the expertise of somebody that's at that level, but yet it's reasonable for people that are just service-based companies, because we don't have millions of dollars. I mean, I don't know of anybody that on the service level that can just spend $1 million a month and
if you do,
Google. Yeah, exactly. But most guys, aren't at that level. I mean, most guys are, $500, $600, $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 a month kind of a deal compared to somebody that's at $1 million. I mean, it's just the difference. And that's what I love about Steve and what with his team is that they actually can work on those levels. And some of this stuff, even if you have $1,000 a month, you could totally change everything. I mean, just think about how much it costs. And I know personally in competitive areas, I've worked with some of the service guys to pay for one lead from Angie's List or pay for one lead from HomeAdvisor. I mean, you're sometimes talking $100, $200 just for one lead.
Wow.
with the hope that it's going to actually, and again, more competitive areas, but some of them aren't that expensive, but there's still issues where, I mean, some of those leads are super expensive. Even at $50 a lead is still really a lot compared to, how many leads you can get out. So you're looking at Traverse City, you're getting 1 to 2 calls, 3 calls sometimes a day. Mm-hmm. Times that by 30, you're at what? Let's just say it's 60 leads for a month-ish.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there. I mean, that's a lot of leads. I mean, you're not obviously going to close every one of them.
No,
that's up to you and your sales, but even if you close half of them, I mean, like, that's pretty doggone good. So
yeah. So it works really well on industries that have relatively high margins, like roofers, physicians, that kind of stuff.
Right.
Because then the money that you spend, if you get, let's say, 10 new roof jobs and there's, $10,000, well, you just got $100,000 in revenue profit. I don't know what everyone's, profit margins are, but like it can be massive. Like your ROI can be really massive. So yeah.
And you obviously have to look at, I mean, like we're looking at the CPC thing here for this injury lawyer at $60 each. They're probably making hundreds of thousands or thousands of dollars off of each situation that they actually get in and close. I'm sure that's the case. So $60 a lead is like, that's not really that much. But in some situations that might be a lot. I mean, like, it depends on your business, depends on what's going on. But again, I'm sure we could probably talk for another hour and have way, way, way more stuff. But just to get a kind of break the ground and say, look, this is cracking the door open into an area and a field that is just phenomenal. Setting up the business, I mean, the website, I mean, there's a lot of information here in the last couple of minutes or whatever it's been. If somebody wanted to contact you, Steve, and say, hey, look, I love what you said. I'm just really overwhelmed, but I need more leads, and I don't know how to do this on my own. Can you help me? Are you willing to talk with them?
Yeah, I mean, not to be, obviously crass, but like, if you want to do consulting or something like that, then yes. Or if we're looking to take on like a client, relationship, I mean, that's, a large part of our business is we generate leads for certain verticals and niches. But then we also, have client relationships where someone were to hire us and our team to, promote their business, drive the leads. So if someone's not looking, if you're looking at this being like, oh my gosh, he's mentioned citations, he's mentioned reviews, he's mentioned all these other things. Like, I just want to swing hammers and make money and run my crew,
right?
Inject Botox and then, sit on a boat. Totally fine. I get it. Absolutely. Then hire us for like a done for you solution type of thing. But if you want to, do this stuff, then, by all means we can, consult you. And that type of thing as well.
Yeah, well, and there's definitely two types of people out there. You have the people that, hey, I like to do a lot of stuff on my own. You might be bootstrapping your business. great, awesome. Here's some great information that you can use. You might also be the person that's way overworked and just don't have time for anything else, but yet you still want to grow. And so that's where I think Steve could come in, and that's what I just wanted to confirm that Steve was available and able to actually take on more clients, which I'm pretty confident you were, but just to be able to do that, and then just to be able to contact him. I do know from past that there's a lot of times there's a little bit of a setup fee to be able to get it going. Then obviously a monthly kind of a scenario. Don't want to get into a whole lot of that. We're not really trying to sell, but if you mention this, I think we talked earlier, you said you'd be willing to give them 50% off the setup fee. So like that, is that?
Yeah, correct.
That's good.
So yeah, exactly. So if you mention Tim Kroll, whether it's in an email or a phone call, if you decide you want to talk to us, yeah, I mean, Tim's is a good buddy of mine and a business partner too. So on other projects. So yeah, I mean, I want to show value to the community. So
yeah, so that's actually a significant savings. You're talking probably a couple $1,000s there in savings. So it's pretty awesome. But how can they get in contact with you? What's the best way? I know you love Skype, but not everybody does. But so what?
I do love Skype. It doesn't go away.
I've had more trouble with Skype.
I know you're not a big fan of that. So, yeah, let me pull up the phone number. I literally can't remember my business phone number off the top of my head.
No, but that's awesome. I mean, and the thing is too, and this is what I love about Steve, is that he's always willing to help, share information. And that's what I think is more important, is that it comes from the heart, and the fact that he wants to help businesses grow. And I think that's why we've hit it off so well as far as in our relationship, working on businesses, different things. And I've hired Steve for multiple things. Just his team is phenomenal. I haven't met one guy on the team that's not. So that's what I really love about Steve, and I wanted to share this out with everybody, just because in my opinion, there's tons and tons of value here. So.
Cool. Well, thank you. So let me share the screen here. Here it is. 855-983-0303. I literally had to Google.
You had to Google your own company.
I did. Well, I'm not the sales guy.
I know, but
I was going to give out my cell phone number.
I know, but that's that actually, it's funny you bring that point up. I know for a fact. You and I have talked about that. Everybody has an individual superpower. And you admitted this, like, you're not the sales guy. Like, that's just not who you are. And I know you've got some really phenomenal sales guys there that can help people walk through and help make decisions. So don't worry about that. I mean, I'm sure everybody knows they've been in business. They specialize in one thing. And so it's no big deal. I love that you had to Google your own company. That's awesome.
Well, Cody, Cody, he normally would be, I would pull up. We've actually got two brands, Mission to Market and then Mastermind SEO. Mission to Market is the parent company. Mastermind SEO is the actual SEO division of Mission to Market. But yeah, that's the phone number that would get you to me. So if you want to talk, or if you want to talk to Cody, he's more fun to talk to than I am. So.
That's awesome. Well, that's what we got for today. I'm going to share this out a lot of different spots, Facebook, a couple of different things. And like I said, I personally, I've loved working with Steve, so I can 100% give my recommendation. And it's been several years that we've worked together on several different projects. So hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you have, I want you to do two things. Number one is just post in the comment down below. Just let me know what you learned on it, or if it's something that you can implement it. And then number two, just share it with somebody. So just comment real quick on what it is that you loved about it. And then number two, just go ahead and share it with somebody else. And if it's of value, I mean, like, this is just, again, I learned a lot. I always learn a lot when I talk with Steve, and that's where we're at. So, all right. That's
one more thing.
What do you got?
So the knowledge graph right here, when you Google my brand, right, these posts, right, those are,
they all post right there. Yep.
Yeah. So there's just one more thing. So yes, comment.
Those are awesome.
Do those things.
That is so cool. All right. Well, peace out, and we love you guys.